Yes, we are looking at the worst reviews for Super Mario Bros. Now, the critics kind of really didn't even like it like that, but the audience freaking loved it, and it's pretty easy to point out that the critics obviously didn't play Mario games growing up, and the audience, which is, us, played the Mario games growing up. So we can say that the critics were a little bit of some uncultured swines. The audience is the ones with the great taste. In this world that we live in, there is always going to be a hater, and we are going to look at all the haters that had a thing or two to say about the Mario movies. Let's look at the worst reviews for Super Mario Bros. The critics gave this a 58%. Splat. But the audience gave it a 96. That is pretty high. I said this in a podcast and I just wanted to show you guys again. Also, link is down for all the podcasts that me and my boy John talk about. There's another movie that goes by Sonic the Hedgehog, and they also dealt with kind of the same reviews a little bit, where the audience gives it a super high rating, but the critics just aren't too fond of it. But let's read the critics' worst reviews. So Casey Chong says the Super Mario Bros. Movie had a few worthwhile moments, but it wasn't enough to overcome the sheer banality of its storyline. Honestly, I thought it was a pretty decent movie. I thought it was a pretty good movie, and it did have a lot of the stuff that, all of us grew up playing, and it did have a lot of nostalgic moments because they brought it into the movie. Because what would a Super Mario Bros. Movie be if it didn't have anything that we saw in the games growing up? And I don't even think the storyline was really that bad. It's not like Mario's storyline in all these games that we even grow up playing are very simple. It doesn't need to be a complex storyline. It doesn't need to give like all this crazy backstory. Like every time you picked up a Mario game, it was very simple to play, and we already knew the objective every single time. Grant Watson says, if you're a kid who spends half your time on Nintendo Switch and the other half watching cartoons, there is plenty in Super Mario Bros. To satisfy. If you're the parent of such a kid, who are you to tell them what they should and shouldn't enjoy? Okay, so then why'd you give it a bad rating? This doesn't make any sense because Mario wasn't just only on the Nintendo Switch. It was on the NES. It was on the N64. It was on game systems that you yourself, based off your picture, you're a pretty old guy, ended up playing. You played on those types of systems, and it had the Mario games. So if you grew up playing it, even back in the 80s, because Mario came out in the 80s, pretty sure you were a kid at the time. And I'm pretty sure you watched cartoons because there was cartoons back in the day as well. Then you would understand where the kids that are playing the Nintendo Switch and watching the cartoons are coming from. So you should probably enjoy the film as well. Like, what? The only way this kind of just doesn't work for a parent is if they literally did not play Mario and if they did not grow up watching cartoons. But I'm pretty sure everybody in the world has watched cartoons growing up and has played a video game or two, especially Mario. This is a top critic right here, John Wilmez. Among the many errors of the Super Mario Bros. Movie, screenwriter Matthew Fogel plops him and his brother Luigi into a milky toast? Milky toast? I don't know what that means. Brooklyn family that doubts them and disrespects their small business dreams. I just don't like your comment because I just don't understand what milky toast means. A lot of the other critics, look at it, look at the streak of tomatoes and then a splat by Carson, buttered popcorn. The Super Mario Bros. Movie is the Illumination style done at its absolute worst. Well, I don't even think Illumination really puts out bad movies. Like Despicable Me is not a bad movie, and it came out by Illumination. I'm pretty sure there's another film there's plenty of film that Illumination put out and they actually weren't that bad, and neither was a Super Mario Bros. Movie. Cool yourself, Carson. Stepping out of line. Another top critic, Dylan Roth. It is the laziest possible version of a Mario movie, and for most viewers, young and old, that'll be totally acceptable. So are you just saying that we don't have good taste? Huh? If we're just okay with a lazy version of a Mario movie. This wasn't a lazy version of a Mario movie. This was well done. All right. I did like the story. I did like how all the characters were. Just because we're getting upset.
I know you're upset.
Apparently Mario doesn't have a Italian accent, or his like Brooklyn Italian, New York Italian accent, right? Oh well, he barely talked in the fucking games anyway, all right? So who cares what he sounds like? Even though this is reading the worst reviews, there's actually a top critic who actually had something nice to say. Look at the tomato, it's not ugly. The sneaky surprise here is Jack Black playing Bowser. He's hilarious. James Mottram, or Motram, I'm sorry if I'm just butchering these names. An impressive Hollywood A-list voice cast and a script filled with nods to the video game series adds to the appeal. Although by about hour mark you might well feel this is just one long chase movie. I mean, all the Mario games are just chase games. Like, you're chasing after Princess Peach, you're chasing after stars, you're chasing after coins. Mario just chases things. All right, so this is the concept of Mario and just how all the games work. You're chasing an objective. All right, and he's always chasing Princess Peach. It's like Mario's just doing his job. All the Mario games are long too, so it's just one long chase game. All right. A top critic, I'm not gonna try and pronounce your first name, Wenlei Ma. Wenlei Ma says the whole package is a deranged mishmash of overstimulating elements. It's just a colorful world. All right. Just can't handle it. Eric Markhen says it's a fan service above all else, regressively so, structuring a threadbare story around iconography linked to source material just isn't enough. You gave it a C. I mean, like I said, Mario is just it's a simple game, but it's still it's a very hard game. All the Mario games are relatively difficult, but it's very simple and it's just straight to the point. Like, if I watch a video game movie and it's based off a video game series that's had multiple games throughout its entire duration of being around, then I'm expecting it to give me everything that I grew up watching and know. So yeah, it needs to appeal to the fan. Its job is to serve the fans. We're gonna read this last review right here. The Super Mario Bros. Movie is super nostalgic, but not super fun. Granted, I haven't regularly played home video games since NBA Jam in 1995. Okay, so then why are you critiquing a video game movie if you haven't played since the freaking mid-90s? All right, this is a movie to where people who play video games, people who grew up playing video games and know, especially the Mario Bros. Universe and series, are kind of allowed to critique it in such a way. But since it's coming from you, my name is Jeff, you haven't played video games since 1995, then who are you to judge how the Mario movie is supposed to go or what's supposed to be fun in the Mario Bros. Movie? You don't even play it. If you made it to the end of the video, please hit that subscribe button, leave a like on the video, and what you thought about the Mario movie. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you feel in between about it? Let me know. I do want to do more movies like this. I want to see, hey, what are the bad reviews about it? What did people not like about it? Especially with movies that we all know and love. Thank you guys for watching.